When we think of stories, we usually think of big things, right? Like books, movies, entire historical accounts. But what if I told you that an entire story, a whole point of view, could be hiding inside just a single sentence? Well, today, we're going to take one of those sentences, pull it apart, and see just how much is really packed inside.
Okay, here it is. Just read it for a second, let it sink in. You will bring about the destruction of the German war machine. Wow, it's powerful, it's final. It just lands with this incredible weight. But right now it's just floating there, completely by itself, with zero context.
So what are we even listening to here? I mean, is this a general giving one last do-or-die order to his troops before a huge battle? Or maybe it's a politician making this really serious threat to an enemy nation? Or is it something else entirely, like a narrator telling us something that's already destined to happen? The tone means everything, but without any context, we're really just guessing. All right, before we go hunting for clues, let's just focus on what we have right in front of us. The words themselves are so specific, so deliberate. Let's break down the two most powerful parts of this phrase.
First up, that word destruction. Now, think about that. This isn't about defeating or pushing back or even capturing. Destruction is absolute. It means taking something apart so completely that it can never, ever be put back together again. It's a word that screams finality.
And then we have this phrase, German war machine. What's so interesting here is that choice of words. It doesn't say the German army or the enemy soldiers. It says war machine. That kind of language is designed to dehumanize. It turns the enemy into this cold, impersonal, mechanical thing, something made of gears and steel that just needs to be dismantled, not a group of actual people you have to fight.
So just from the words alone, this really clear picture starts to form. You feel this immense authority, these monumental stakes, a super difficult task, but also a crystal clear goal. This isn't just about winning a battle. It's about total and complete obliteration. But of course, words almost never exist in a vacuum, right? They're always framed by a bigger story, a larger context. And that context is about to change absolutely everything we think we know about this sentence. Let's start zooming out. So, where would you even expect to find a line with this much intensity? Maybe a declassified historical document, a transcript from some secret wartime meeting, a piece of old propaganda? So the first piece of our puzzle isn't who said it or when or where. The first clue is the title of the video this sentence was actually pulled from. And that title is Iconic WW2 Victories. Instantly, the whole feeling just shifts, doesn't it? All that suspense just drains away. The uncertainty, gone. The title itself is a spoiler. We're no longer sitting on the edge of our seats wondering if this is going to happen. We're being told a story about something we already know was a success. I mean, look at this. This is the power of framing right here in action. What felt like a really difficult, tense command now feels like a guaranteed outcome. What felt like a moment of high tension becomes a moment of triumph. The quote itself hasn't changed at all, but its entire meaning has been transformed, just by knowing the title of the story it's in. Okay, so we've got the what, the quote, and we've got the where, a story about victory. But there is one more crucial piece of context we need, and honestly, it might be the most important one of all. Who is telling this story?
Because, the identity of the narrator shapes the story just as much as the title does. And this particular story of victory is being told by a channel with a very, very specific name.
Victorious Britannia. There it is. That's the final layer of our context. This isn't just some generic history channel. The name itself is basically shouting its perspective from the rooftops.
Let's just break that down for a second. Victorious, okay, that tells you the channel's entire focus is celebratory. It's not just analytical. And Britannia, well, that tells us exactly whose victories are being celebrated. This channel isn't even trying to be neutral. It's telling a story from a proud, specific British point of view.
So now we can see the whole picture. We've literally journeyed from a single, isolated sentence all the way out to understanding the entire narrative architecture that's been built around it. It's almost like a recipe, really.
You start with a really powerful, emotionally charged piece of text. Then you frame it inside a title that guarantees a happy, triumphant ending. And finally, you have it delivered by a narrator whose very name signals a specific, celebratory perspective. And what do you get? A complete narrative with a very, very clear point of view.
So the crucial takeaway here is this. The quote, the video title, and the channel name all work as a team. They're not just separate little bits of information. They combine to create something much bigger, a specific and really intentional perspective on history. It's not just stating a fact, it's building a feeling, an attitude, a whole worldview.
Okay, let's hear it one last time. You will bring about the destruction of the German war machine. It sounds completely different now, doesn't it? It's no longer a tense command filled with uncertainty. It's a declaration of an inevitable, celebrated victory told from inside the winner's circle.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. The next time you watch or read something, especially about history, just ask yourself, are you just learning about the event itself? Or are you also, and maybe even more importantly, learning about the perspective and the exact story that the storyteller wants you to hear?